Rules of thumb. So guys, I'm going to give you guys some broad parameters here to follow when it comes to selecting a dog, whether you're buying a puppy, whether you're buying an adult dog, and the types of breeds that you want to look into. Okay? So, number one, let's talk about the way to stack the deck in your favor, in my opinion. I've dealt with a lot of different breeds. I've owned and trained many dogs. I've sold many dogs. Working line German Shepherds are your best bet. Right? So if you're going to buy a puppy and kind of roll the dice, and it's always a roll of the dice. I don't care what his parents did. Okay? I've seen puppies that come from the most phenomenal breedings and the best parents that really aren't worth anything when it comes to actual work. And I've seen puppies that come from no particular breeding that, you know, actually can do something. I'm not saying go and reward breeders that aren't using good quality stock. I'm saying that nothing is for sure when we're talking about living creatures. Okay? Obviously you want to stack the deck in your favor. Select a dog that comes from good breeding, from working line German Shepherds, not show lines. Show lines are bred for their appearance in the show ring. You want a working line dog. Okay? So, working line German Shepherd, male. Testosterone matters. Do I need to say that? It freaking matters. Okay? Females, if they're good, they tend to be a little bit social. They're always a softer dog. Males, very important. Okay? So if you want a strong dog and you want to stack the deck in your favor, male working line German Shepherd. Now, if you're a little scared, you're not sure if you can handle the dog, maybe, you know, your wife's going to be dealing with the dog more and you're not sure if she's a little fearful of the dog and she's the type that's a little bit more shy and retiring. Female, always better. I've rarely, if ever, run into a female that has real handler issues. Males, if you get a good one, strong one, sometimes they can test you a little bit. So the benefit of male versus female is that females, regardless of the breed, are always softer and easier to handle in general. Again, it's a generality. I know there's going to be tons of people in the comments, oh, my female was so badass. Okay, buddy, I'm sure she was. Anyways, let's talk about the other breeds that people tend to ask about. Dobermans. This one's sleeping. Dobermans, generally it's a bad deal, right? They can be good deterrent dogs, and they look really cool and really intimidating if they're cropped and docked. If they're not cropped and docked, forget about it. They look like hound dogs, okay? They tend to be quite soft. They tend to have lower drives. You know, I've certainly seen an okay male or two, but it's not a common thing. Be very careful if you're getting a Doberman. If you're serious about getting a Doberman, what I would suggest you do is you buy an adult from a trainer or vendor that has one that's fully trained, that you can see the dog and the quality of the dog, okay? So, Dobermans are hard to find good ones. And they also tend to have a lot of health issues, and they don't live very long. Okay? Belgian Malinois. This one's very popular, especially ever since the John Wick movies. These are the yellow dogs with the black face. This is actually a German Shepherd Malinois cross. Okay? But he has more of a Malinois look, even though his body is that of a German Shepherd. And this is only an 8-month-old puppy, by the way. Belgian Malinois. They tend to be like German Shepherds on crack cocaine. All right? Now, is that, again, it's a general rule. I actually have a Belgian Malinois for sale right now, Rico, who's very stable. Very easy going. He's not twitchy. He's not neurotic at all. But the breed tends to carry a fair bit of neuroses because it actually makes them really good at repetitive tasks like searching cars all day long at a border checkpoint for drugs. Okay? So they tend to be a little bit intense. They often aren't the most ideal dog for a family situation. This is where selection is really important, right? So like when I go to Europe and I'm buying dogs, I'll say, yeah, this is a Belgian Malinois, but just like I mentioned, the dog Rico, very social, very stable. This is a dog that I can give to most anybody and they'll be able to handle him and I don't have to be worried about their safety, okay? Or anybody else's safety. So, Belgian Malinois, be very careful. Again, if you're buying puppies, you've got to be careful. I see a lot of people run into problems with these dogs just because they're so energetic, they're neurotic, and they're also quite sensitive, really hot-blooded dogs. So, a good one is really awesome, but the chances of you getting one, especially if you're buying a puppy, not so good. Okay? Dutch Shepherds, big favorite of a lot of people. One of my favorites, as you all know from my previous videos. Dutch Shepherds look really intimidating. They got the stripes, the dark pigmentation. They look like something out of a movie. Again, Very hard to find a good one that would be suitable for most family situations and also capable of doing the work. I've certainly met some Dutch Shepherds that looked the part but certainly couldn't do anything, and I've also met some Dutchies that could do something, but they're very difficult to handle. They are not user-friendly dogs, and you certainly don't want to get into one of those unless you really know what you're doing. Okay? Now, we covered the German Shepherds, the Malinois, the Dutchies. We covered the Dobermans. Pit bulls. Let me talk about pit bulls quickly. Okay? Because I know everybody's going to ask me about pit bulls. I don't like using pit bulls for protection work. Generally, you can find pit bulls that have quite a bit of drive. You can find pit bulls that are relatively confident. And in the last category, sociability, which I'll get to, you can find pit bulls that are quite social. But what I find is, the way that pit bulls, you have to understand what pit bulls were bred to do. They were bred to fight other dogs and other animals. Okay? The type of aggression that was bred into those dogs that enabled them to be excessively good at those particular tasks doesn't always translate well to man work. I find they tend to lose a lot of clarity when they go into that mindset. And it's really important when we're working with these dogs that we maintain the clarity of the dog. We're not looking to create this crazy, out of control danger to everything around him. We're looking for something that's stable, that can go into that place if he needs to go into that place, but still remain cognitive there. And I find, again, it's a general rule. I find that a lot of pit bulls lose clarity when they go into aggression. And for me, as somebody that it's really important that we sell dogs that are as stable as we can possibly make them, that is a problem, right? And then again, a lot of pit bulls, let's face it, people are like, oh, it's a pit bull and it's so badass. And in many cases, it's not even a pit bull. It's, you know, a bully type dog or a dog that has cropped ears, and maybe there's 5 different types of Mastiff in it and a Border Collie, who knows. But at the end of the day, a lot of those dogs actually don't really have the nerves to do the work as well. So, can you do it with pit bulls? Yes, you can. They are not the type of dog that I like to work with, and that a lot of other trainers that, you know, have a good reputation like to work with either, to be honest with you. So that's a little aside on pit bulls. Let's talk a little bit about the Mastiffs. I've already mentioned pit bulls. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Mastiffs. The Mastiffs tend to be very good in the compound guardian role. What I really don't like is when I see people buy like a Mastiff or a Caucasian Shepherd, and then they want to go and do like bite work, like they've bought themselves a Belgian Malinois. They want to do recreational bite work, they want to do bite sports, and they're so frustrated that their Mastiff can't do it, that the dog is barely engaging, the dog doesn't seem to enjoy the bite work. He doesn't enjoy the bite work because for him it's not a game. There's no fun. He doesn't compete. He doesn't like it. Because for him it's real, right? Because of the way he's bred. He's not bred to play like that. You can do it with the Dutchies, and with a good Dutchie, with a good Malinois, with a good working line German Shepherd. Mastiffs are not oriented like that in general. There are exceptions to the rule, but generally, they do not have very much prey drive. So when we're doing bite work with them, we're generally relying on the defensive aggression of the dog. And we're utilizing that to create arousal and to get him to do things from a bite work standpoint. What I mean is, defensive is, I perceive you as a threat, and I'm doing stuff to make you go away, up to and including biting you. That is not the ideal drive for recreational bite work. I want to go out every week with my Neapolitan Mastiff, and I want to do bite work, and I want to enter the bite competitions with all the Mallies and all that type of stuff. Not the right dog for that job. Can you find one that'll do it? Sure. Very rare, very hard to find. Generally speaking, you're going to fall again into the compound dog. You leave him in the yard, he'll do his job. You leave him in the house, he's going to sleep 95% of the day. Someone comes to the door, he's going to make his presence known. If they try to come in without permission, they might go to the hospital. That's his job. He's doing it very well. Leave him be. Okay? Rottweilers. Rottweilers are an interesting dog, because I've certainly met some of them that are very sporty. They can do recreational bite work. They can do anything up to including high-level executive protection work. I actually bought a couple of Rottweilers in my time, and I've sold them. Not easy to find those dogs, but when they exist, there's almost nothing close to that type of dog. The power, the intensity, the drive. The problem is male Rottweilers, and this is where you're going to find those really high-level dogs, generally the males. You don't really see it so much in the females. Again, it's a male-female thing. It exists. It's real. The problem with the males is they're generally not user-friendly from a handling standpoint. They tend to have some handler issues, especially if you're not a strong handler. They will challenge you. They will punk you. They will hurt you if you don't know what you're doing. So that's why I don't generally deal too much in the Rottweiler, and also they're hard to find, right? The good ones. But they can certainly fulfill the compound and deterrent dog area, right? And if you get a good one, then you can have the whole kit and caboodle, right? Also with the Rotties, be careful. They tend to carry a little bit of dog aggression, especially the males. It seems like the better the male, the more dog aggression he has. I've noticed that, and I think it's a dominance thing. Rotties really operate from a dominance standpoint, the good ones. And what I mean by that is, dominance is the urge to control, the urge to impose yourself upon your circumstances in order to achieve satisfaction in whatever it is that you value, be it food, prey objects, social interaction. A lot of the time with the Rotties, even when they're a little lower in the drive, if I look them in the eyes and I say, hey man, I want to fight with you, even if that dog's not a fearful antisocial dog, even if he's generally quite social, he'll fire right up. He'll be like, oh, you want to fight? I love fighting. Let's fight. And just that competition for dominance just brings out the highest level in them. And they can really do a lot from a protection standpoint. But again, there's those downsides that take them out of the pool for most people. Rules of thumb. You want 2 dogs? You get a male, you get a female. You do not get 2 males, you do not get 2 females. If you're serious about a dog for protection, this is a different kind of dog. This is not some golden retriever poodle thing. This is an A-type personality dog, okay? This is not generally a dog that's going to share space well, all right? A male and a female. If you have 5 dogs in your house already and you want to add a protection dog, good luck. Not saying it's impossible, I'm saying it's quite difficult. I certainly generally will not sell a dog to that type of situation. If you have an existing female, you buy a male. If you have an existing male, you buy a female. Little dogs, it can work. I've certainly sold protection dogs to homes where they have some little dogs, as long as the little dogs aren't a-holes. They go and pick fights with the big dog. Just the size difference alone, the dog can sometimes tolerate and ignore them, where they wouldn't tolerate sharing their space with another large male or another large female. So opposites attract, male and female. So certainly 2 dogs is always better than 1, especially if you're in a compound situation. But when you start to have same sexes, then a much higher chance of there being same-sex aggression, right? And dogs when they fight, they can actually kill each other. So especially if you're in a powerful breeds, powerful dogs, you want to be careful there.